Welcome back to the X and O Sports Show. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley. We had some playoff basketball this weekend, and it was great. We started off with a lot of action packed. Most of the games I enjoyed a lot. It wasn't too many games I really didn't enjoy. All of them had some type of action or some sort, whether it was shoving, pushing, punching, all that stuff. We know NBA players don't fight. But let's get right into it. Like I said, the action packed weekend for the playoffs had some good games. We had a play-in game, a couple of them. Broke my heart. Waddell Stephen Curry, he gave it everything he had. Like I said, he came out short not once but twice. Like I said, with the last second shot LeBron hit while he was defending for the deep three, that was heartbreaking. Like I said, he gave his all. He had, I think 37 points that night. Not bad. Then turn around to lose to the Grizzlies as well, and I'm like, once again, he showed up and played well, but his team did not do enough to keep him in it. Like I said, to lose those two games are heartbreakers. It shows of no matter how great you are, you still need help. No offense to Draymond Green, he is not an offensive threat. He's going to average giving you 5 points, maybe 8 rebounds, and he thinks he's a point guard with 9 assists. That's not going to win you games, Draymond, but that's how you play. That's how they want you to play. By all means, great, but it's not going to help Steph. So hopefully Klay Thompson comes back healthy next year and they can get the Winston kid back in there, get the ball back going. So that is one of the games that I was like, kind of heartbreaking because, I can't remember outside of last year when he broke his hand and Klay was out, that the Warriors have not been in the playoffs for the first couple of years. So, sucks, but oh well, let's get off to the Grizzlies. They got their first win. With Golden State, beating them. I feel like John Morant feel like he is starting to arrive, and you're playing well. Keep it up. The most entertaining game that I did catch that stood out from all the rest of them, like I said, all the rest were good, but this one stood out the most, and it was the Knicks in Atlanta. I'm not gonna lie, between Spike Lee running around with all his antics, Trae Young shushing the crowd after he hits that game winner. They gave me goosebumps. They gave me goosebumps. They went in every play. I mean, the last 2 minutes is shot for shot, tick for tack. I hit a three, you hit a three. I get a block, you get a block. And they're pushing the tempo. And like I said, that was one of the most entertaining games because everybody knows that Spike Lee's a die-hard Knicks fan. And everybody remembers, if you're not, you can go back and watch it. There's one game that stood out to me the most with Spike Lee and whatever goes on because Spike Lee is also a target because he's famous and he's a big Knicks fan. Scottie Pippen comes down the lane, catches the pass, and he dunks, and Patrick Ewing tries to contest it. He dunks on Patrick Ewing. And when he walks around past the sideline, he tells Spike Lee to sit his you-know-what down. And that was famous because it was like Spike Lee, saying this to me? But like I said, that thing that happened with Trae Young last night, it kind of reminded me of him shushing the crowd of what Scottie Pippen did to Spike Lee years ago. But like I said, it's all in fun. I embrace it. I love it. It brings energy to the game. I'm looking forward to that second game to see can he do it again. Like I said, the mecca of basketball is in New York. Like I said, hopefully Trae Young can do it for at least 3 more times to go ahead and get that series out the way. Unfortunately, my Lakers took a loss, but overall, I wasn't upset with the game. Like I said, we didn't play as well, but we're also away. And like I said, as long as we steal one of these games, our strategy could work. Like I said, I have them listed as we'll beat them in 6. So if we steal this one, take care of business at home, we'll have the advantage, in theory. So, like I said, overall, we didn't play terrible. However, Anthony Davis, if you have one more game like you did the other night, I'm going to be hotter than fish grease. You got to be kidding me. Like, God-given talent, your work ethic. There's no way you should have a playoff game like that. I know everybody has a bad game, but you are a Laker. You decided to be a Laker. We don't want to see that no more. You are going to be classified if you play and finish your career as a Laker. Could be, not guaranteed, but you could be one of the great Lakers that they talk about. Depends on how many championships you got. So that 13 points that you put the other night, that's not going to cut it. Like I said, I was hot as fish grease. But, hey, AD, I know you're going to bounce back. Get it together. So, Luka Doncic gets a triple-double in the first game of his playoffs. I love it. Luka Doncic is one of those guys, when he got in the league, I was like, ugh, who is this dude? Like, he didn't look athletic. I'm looking like he ate donuts for breakfast. But he can play. He reminds me of a taller, little bit bigger James Harden. He's not overly fast, but he can shoot your lights out. He get that first step, and he's strong. He's stronger than he looks. So that's why so many people have a hard time trying to defend him. Like I said, but Doncic, he got his triple-double. Kawhi Leonard caught a body, but that was the best part of their game. Because after that, like, they still lost. Playoff P is taunting and saying, yeah, but playoff P, you're down 0-1 to the Mavericks. That's not playoff P. It looks like more like pedestrian P. So, but oh well, we'll see. He said, Dallas, good job with your first win. Keep it up. Unfortunately, you're playing the Clippers, so I'm going to root for you. And I hope you beat them 4-0. Send them home. One player I was disappointed in. Now, I've gloated about this guy, so that's why I hold him to a higher standard, more than any other player besides Wardell, Stephen Curry. I hold Steph to a higher standard, and I hold this guy to a higher standard. Jimmy Butler. No, Jimmy, that ain't going to cut it. I gave you all the praise since you was a Chicago Bull. I said you are that guy that I will play with any given day, any Saturday, because you got that dog in you. What I saw the other night is not the Jimmy Butler I know. I hold Jimmy to a higher standard. I need that 2020 no edge up Jimmy Butler, mustache out of control, no deodorant wearing Jimmy Butler. That's the Jimmy Butler I need. He didn't care about anything but winning and winning. That other night he went 4 of 22 for 17 points. That's not gonna cut it. No, I have the Bucks winning the series. But if he plays like that continually, they're gonna beat them 4-0. So Jimmy, what's tonight? Tonight is Monday, so he's actually gonna play again tonight. So you guys stay tuned tonight. Milwaukee versus the Heat. Let's see if Jimmy Butler, re-ups, and let's turn that into at least a 14 out of 22 night. And I'm going to need at least 28 points tonight. At least 28. Let's get that redemption going. Like I said, tonight is the night for the second games of some of these series. I also want to give a shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies taking care of business. They not only did they beat the Golden State to get into the tournament of the dance, they also took care of business in their first game. They didn't just sit back and say, hey, we made it. They took care of business in the first one and used the momentum from the Golden State game. Ja Morant, guy's a freaking stud. Watched him years ago. Felt like he was going to arrive, but he was like, I ain't top 5. I feel like, hey, you ain't top 5 yet. But this is the time to make your case. This is your time. He had 26 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds the other night. Good job, young man. Like I said, outside of Ja Morant, I think, something's wrong with his legs. He shouldn't be jumping that high at 6'4", but, guy's a freak talent. Next on our topics list is Shikari Richardson. This weekend, I didn't get a chance to watch it for some reason because of the time, it's messed up. So they race in what they call the Diamond League. So I'm like, okay. So I didn't get to see the race, but first of all, she lost. But that's not the problem. You could lose a race, especially when you're at this level. You can lose any day. But the problem I had, I was looking at the numbers that were posted. I'm looking like, ugh. Like, I've watched her since college, and I've watched others. And Asher Deanna, I think I'm saying that right. Asher Deanna, which is out of the UK, posted a 11.35 in the 100 meters. You beat Shikari Richards with 11.35, so that means I automatically knew that something was wrong. So Shikari Richards posted a 11.44 in that race. That don't sound right? We talking about the same girl that almost dropped a 9.6 in the 100 meter a couple weeks ago. Now she's dropping 11s, not 10s, but 11s. So I was like, unless they jog this, something had to go wrong. So once I looked at these numbers, I'm looking like, this can't be right. So when I go, because I couldn't find the race for some reason, like I said, because I don't know if it was shot in America or not, but I couldn't find it initially. So I got tired of looking for it, and I looked at the numbers, and then I found a blog, and people were saying it was windy and raining. So I'm just like, okay, so they only ran the race because they had to. So like they didn't pick up no record numbers or anything like that. So I was like, okay, they're supposed to run, they run. There's no need to get out there try to run a 9.6 and get hurt while it's raining, beating down on you, as well as it's windy. So your time's already gonna be off because of the negative wind against you. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm looking forward to them racing again when it's dry conditions, and I'm pretty sure we would get a better turnout. Like I said, those are not terrible numbers, but for the pros, 11.36, you're not cutting in anybody's league with that. So, like I said, but the fact that the 11.35 was the winning one, that's when I knew something was wrong. So, Shikari, keep your head up. Let's pray for dry conditions. I will be continue watching. And shout out to my subscriber Anthony Moore for showing me that Diamond app. I will be I have downloaded, and I will be following all of the meets this year. Oh, our next topic it was funny to me, but it wasn't funny to others. But maybe I have a weird sense of humor. Kwame Brown situation. I found it funny because he's always, as I was a kid, like growing up, I was a Lakers fan. He's always been the poster child for bus. Like everybody knows, like it's either Ryan Leaf for football and Kwame Brown for basketball. That's it. And so everybody's like, this new story's coming out. He's defending himself, and I'm just like, dude, it's like 20 years ago. And so, like, when I rate a player and call them a bust, I don't make it personal. I don't care what they did off the field, off the court. I don't care. I only rate with what I can see when you do it on the court. So, first of all, let's give a little background. He did defend himself, and it was all over. And like I said, all over the news. I had a subscriber actually ask me, like, hey, what is your thoughts? And I was like, I'll make sure I put it in this show. So, he was 17 years old when he was drafted. Okay, cool. First of all, there were other players that are drafted at 17 years old and played. All of them make the Hall of Fame, but they were drafted at 17 years old. Let's get that out of the way. Also, he was 6'11", 230 to 240. So he was not exactly a teeny tiny kid. It wasn't like he was 6'1" playing point guard. This dude is 6'11". So, okay. Like it's not like, he had some strong disadvantage of why he didn't play well. Okay. So he was drafted to the Washington Wizards. The best year at the Wizards, he had 10.9 points a game and 4.9 rebounds. Now, let's go back to what I said. This dude is 6'11". And he was like, well, they made me work out 2 hours before the game, and every time something went wrong, they blame me. It's called tough love, kid. I know Michael Jordan was not the best mentor to you. I understand that. I think people were twisting the story a little bit more than what they were. But Kwame Brown, I don't care what they said to you, dude. Like, first of all, you're making millions of dollars playing basketball, and your best year was 10 points and 4.9 rebounds. There are point guards out there averaging more than 4.9 rebounds. So that's another negative for him. All right, so then he went to the Lakers with Kobe, which is another a-hole when it comes to the alpha male personality. So he didn't strike gold neither time with that. So his best year with the Lakers was 8.4 points and 6 rebounds. So, he did go up in rebounds, but the points, but I could see why he really didn't get as many points because, Kobe had to take a lot of shots. And the fact that if he was any good, I think Kobe would at least still try to pass him the ball. I think it would have. Now, I've watched Kwame Brown's game. First of all, he had little hands and small feet to be 6'11", so he was uncoordinated. But like I said, you have to work at your craft all the time to try to make up for certain things. And they was like, oh, he really couldn't palm the ball. And we can't help that he had small hands. Dude, you 6'11", like, it's nothing you can do about that. That's what the Lord gave you, so work with it. So, like I said, but the best year he had was the 8.4 points game. And they said it was the pressure from Jordan that made him like fold up, and he second guessed himself, and his confidence was shot. Your confidence is everything, because first of all, when you play a sport, it is you versus everybody else. There's nobody else. When you go home, you look yourself into the mirror. So if somebody shakes your confidence, that's because you let them get in here. That is over and done with. So I guess I'm sounding a little tough on Kwame Brown, but so what? Man, you're 6'11". By the time you get to Kobe, you're 250. You're a grown man at 23, 24 years old. You didn't develop your game any at all. You can miss me with that. Like I said, he wants to defend himself, but the only part that I am cutting at him is his game. That's it. But the banter went back and forth, and they got personal with it. That part I didn't really agree with. I was like, I'll joke Kwame Brown to his face at 39 years old about his game. He'd be like, well, you didn't play in the league. You're right. You're absolutely right. But who cares? That's what it's about. It's funny. Like, I understand it was like, oh, that caused trauma to him. And I sincerely apologize if that caused trauma to you. To those people that hurt your feelings. But this is sports, and this is the world we live in. Should we change it? Yes, but it's not changing anytime soon. But shout out to him for making financial goals. Took care of his mother, bought her a nice house out there on the golf course. Shout out to you for doing that. Having a business for 20 years, that's great. That's outside of basketball. As a human being, I think he's great. I don't know if he have kids or not, but the fact that he's doing well outside of basketball, he is the poster child of what you should keep doing as a man and a person outside of basketball. But as for his game, it sucked. It sucked. 6'11", you're 7 feet. You're not even averaging 10 rebounds. You're not even averaging 10 points. Okay, you made it 12 years in the league. That is great. That is a awesome thing to make. You made it longer than most. But to be honest, I think he only lasted in the league because he was 6'11". And most time he came off the bench. Like, I didn't record looking at his stats. Like, did he even make it start in 81 games for a year? So, like I said, but he played in the league for 12 years. He made some money. He's very successful as a businessman outside of that. But I only go as far as he sucked at basketball. I think he can still outplay the average person. But as in the pros, I don't care if you drafted at 17 or 27. He sucked. But, that's my personal opinion. And Kwame Brown, if you see this and you want to, mention this in the comments. Like I said, I only attacked your game. I never attacked you personally. So if you find this and you find yourself wanting to reply back negatively, great. I'm all here for it. I'm here for all the smoke. I hope you guys saw that actual episode that he was up there because he went out to them too. But hats off to him in his personal life. Kwame Brown, if you ever want to talk business outside of this, I'm listening as well. This is my time, everybody. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm your host, Ricky G. Stanley, and I am out of here.